Bam, here we are. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Point Three Podcast. Before the podcast, we're back.
We're here.
We- We're missing one member, but should be joining us shortly. I am Funko Lou, and we have
Hero Scroll.
2/3 of the trio, your favorite trio. I don't want to say what I really want to say there, but if you listen to our podcast or you know some true behind the scenes, you know what I mean.
I mean, let's be honest. Even one day we'll say it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be true. It's gonna be true.
It's already true. It's already true.
It's already true.
So we're considering this episode 5 of Before the Podcast. Does it all match up? No. However, every single Monday, we are going to be live. So join us. The time is going to be up on our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Check out some previous episodes. What we're trying to do here is just give you some behind the scenes. What do we do to prepare for the podcast that's coming after this? So we record pretty much an hour-long podcast. After this, we're going to talk about some news, some highlights, because we do a really good deep dive into a topic, which is going to be
Across the Spider-Verse.
There you go.
Man.
So we got to drop one spoiler warning for the rest of this live. And if you're watching it back, spoiler warning if you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Very early, because I mean, we're not gonna get into the heavy stuff. We're gonna keep it on the lighter spoiler side. However, if we get a little passionate and it happens, then we're sorry, but you've also been warned.
Yeah.
So you watching, this is your last warning. If you haven't seen the movie, press pause. If you're watching this, after the fact, go watch it. Love it like we did, and then come watch us geek out about it.
And speaking of geeking out, I'm still geeking about this movie, man.
And this movie was so much fun. I saw it Friday, and every day I've been thinking about it. I have my little display here up, and just fantastic. What a good movie, man.
It made me go back and read what last night I read, Ultimate Fallout, when Miles shows up and he runs into the Rhino and he's like trying to stop him, and people don't know, well, I guess light spoiler, at some point Peter Parker dies. I'm gonna throw some quotes out there. He dies. Miles steps in, and you know what I was looking for was his suit, because we did tons of prep. For those of you watching, go back and listen to our previous episode. We basically broke down the history of the Spider-Verse and gave you kind of the main points of how others have tried to adapt a multiverse using Peter Parker or other Spider-Man variants, Spider People. But we did a big rewatch the episode before that for the breakdown of Into the Spider-Verse. And it was so cool, and I watched it again before I went and saw the movie on Thursday, of him looking at the suit, busting out his spray paint and his spray can, doing his thing. They made so many funny calls to his suit in Across the Spider-Verse. I know I'm jumping all over the place. It was hilarious to me.
Oh no, I agree.
Dude, it's so good.
It's
so good.
It's cool to see a movie that calls back to the little details of a first one, because obviously it's gonna have big details that they go back and mention, the multiverse, all that stuff, all your favorite Spider people and all that, they talk about them. But then even the little things that come up, specifically in relation to a villain, and then you're like, wow, that little detail is what led to this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Bro, the attention to detail in this across the board was fantastic. And it's surprising to me. And it's not really surprising. I expected to like this. I expected to love this. But I don't know if I expected to love it so much. And
Same.
They did enough to make me feel like they got me. I was like, you got me.
Because I came into it and I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this movie. I know I am, because, I mean, we've said it before, but if it's Spider-Man, there is going to be a bias,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter how hard we try, because that's just we're Spider-Man fans. But after the movie, I came out and I looked at my wife, and even she, who isn't a huge like superhero fan, even she looked at me and was like, "Wow, this is great." I'll get to her butt later because she said this was great butt, and we'll get to that in the podcast itself. But for me, every second there was not a minute where I thought, okay, this is the part where I could go to the bathroom and just rewatch this later.
Yes.
There was no point in that where
Nope.
I had to hold it all to 2 hours 10 minutes. This is a long movie.
I've seen some people say that the movie might have been too long. I've seen some people say that their audio wasn't great, which my theater in the very beginning, when you see with Gwen, the trailers played, and I think The Flash actually might have been one of the second to last trailers that I saw. And I had to really think to listen to the beginning of it. And then it was fine afterwards, but I did notice a difference. It sounded like everything was coming from the front left of the theater.
Yeah, ours was fine from the beginning. During the trailers, it was more muted. But then once the movie kicked in, it was perfectly fine. So I don't know if it was. I could understand for some it might have been the theater itself.
I don't think it was the movie. People are blaming the movie.
But then for some, it probably also could have been the movie itself. I don't know. But my theater personally was fine. And everybody, let's give an applause. The man, the myth, the legend. He is here.
Hello,
Spider Brando.
What are you guys in the middle of the sound quality stuff?
Yes. We were talking about how some people had some issues on their theaters. Did yours?
Both times I saw the movie, no. I saw, besides like a couple characters' dialogues, just because they're just like Spider-Punk was a little hard to hear at times. But
Legend.
other than that,
Absolute
like
legend.
Spider-Punk
man's a punk for real.
Dude, Spider-Punk was great. Fantastic. His voice actor killed it. I can't remember his voice actor's name right now, but I really enjoy him in every movie that I've seen him in. He was great. Just fantastic.
Daniel, right? Isn't it Daniel something?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Kaluuya, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Him. He did great as Spider-Punk. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, no, this movie was fantastic. Spider Brando, you got the rare privilege that we didn't, I think, of being able to see it twice. And something at the beginning of the live that we said is that we absolutely loved it. Did your second viewing change anything? We already gave the audience a light spoiler warning, so feel free to not hold back.
Okay. I think it was better the second time. Somehow, some way. It was like, it's not knowing how it unfolded and like just knowing exactly where they were gonna end when like seeing it the second time, it just made me appreciate where it ended a little more. And I'm like, damn, like they really picked a good spot, because a couple reviews I've been seeing and a couple of my friends that I've been talking to about it were saying that the final act before the ending, and spoiler, I guess, or not spoiler, but you know, cliffhanger ending, like, is that the light spoiler that you guys talked about?
Yeah, we gave it. We gave it. You can say what you need.
So a couple of them pretty much are like, oh, they felt the third act or the build up to the ending, they could have ended it. Like, they didn't know where to end it, is what some people were saying. Some reviews were saying. But I'm like, you kind of get that feeling, but then the second time you watch it, you're like, damn, they really couldn't have ended it anywhere else. Like, it was Like, what are you
Oh.
gonna do? End it before the whole, I guess, new team reveal? End it before the twist? Before for certain reveals? Like, man, I
I
don't
think
know.
I heard that like right after I looked up some stuff and I was like, okay, there are a couple points that I thought where I always like to do this with movies. Where are people gonna miss? I know he did this for Guardians. Adam Warlock, that's gonna be one of the biggest points of contention for the movie, and for whatever reason, it's a small piece, but people dock movies like crazy for some of these things, which that's a different conversation. But for this, that was the beauty of the movie. You kind of knew where it was coming. If you saw this and you didn't know, there's someone, I think I sent it to you guys earlier. There's a big social media person who was recorded before they went in and saw Across the Spider-Verse. And they're like, I think this might be a part 2. Dog, we got Infinity War and Endgame. And regardless of whether, if we had a post-credit scene or not, I think we live in this culture of post-credit scenes to where this was one of the biggest, like Marvel MCU is one of the biggest offenders. If you didn't have a good post-credit scene, that mattered for the movie.
Yeah. People would dock it quick.
Yeah.
Quick. They were like, no, this was trash. Because Multiverse of Madness, they kind of got that knock where they're like, yeah, the movie's all right, but the post-credit scene they're absolutely trash. And they are, don't get me wrong, they're not great. What the first one is with Clea. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. The second one is, just kind of funny, haha. But this movie didn't really need a post-credit scene, especially with the way they end it. And I can understand why some people would be upset at the ending, the cliffhanger ending, where, if you're coming into this and you don't know that there's going to be a part 3, and then, you're one of the moviegoers where you like a straight resolution to your movie, a definitive. I can understand that, but at the same time, everything leading up to the movie and everything in the story is leading up to you not getting that, instead to continue building.
Right.
A lot of people. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say, because if not, then it's just gonna be like a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, right. A lot of people that I talked to were just like surprised that they were just gonna like, they didn't know about the third movie like being announced and pretty much like done already.
Well, what
So
they
that's
didn't
what
do?
threw them off a little bit.
They clearly didn't listen to the Point 3 podcast the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
They didn't.
They did not.
That's how you know the pretenders versus the true fans.
This is on
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Gotta stay
only on you.
point.
Yeah. And
On
if
Point
you have
3.
a friend, if you're watching this and you have a friend who said this to you, it's still on you because you didn't send them our podcast.
It's your fault.
Hey,
Share it.
You.
We're blaming them.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but
Well, before we get into the prep for the podcast in the last 5-ish minutes or so, do you guys want to run through some topics that we had set up?
yes, absolutely.
yes.
All right. I'm going to throw a first one out here.
Go
We can
for
talk
it.
about it. Sony Pictures animated film about Miles Morales, the second movie. How do we feel about a game for Miles Morales? A second appearance for Michael Morales. Goodness. Miles Morales. We get into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, and then live action. Now, after seeing the movie, because we did ask this question before, now after seeing this, do you guys feel good about a potential live action Miles Morales?
Oh yeah, even more. Man, I'm including myself in this because I don't have too many Miles Morales comic books in my collection. Myself, after I got out of the movie, the first thing I did was go on like Mercari, eBay, and try to look some up because I really wanted some more. Right, I just want more Miles. And right now is the worst time to buy anything Miles related because you're gonna be paying a premium because everybody wants it. But yes, that's basically my way of saying I just want more Miles. His character's so good, and the story isn't too far from Peter Parker, right? There's just a few similarities, but the difference is they managed to make 4 Miles in this is just fantastic. So yes, I wanted Miles, be it a continuation of, you know, the Spider-Verse version or just a brand new one. Either way.
There's
I'd be
room.
happy with either.
Yeah.
I liked it would be cool to see my Beyond theory come to life and them kind of just plop out animated Miles into live action. But I see a lot of people being pissed about that.
Sure.
But then again, I'll be like, how soon do you need to see like another like new origin on Miles Morales?
It's exactly
That's
what I was going to say. Exactly.
It's the weird dilemma that they're in with it. But I mean, I started right as soon as that movie ended, and I got home. I know it might have been Friday night because I got home late Thursday. But Friday night, I was gaming Miles Morales all night just because I was so ecstatic coming out of this movie. It was phenomenal. I love Miles as a character. I started reading some of his Ultimate comics by Bendis, I believe.
Yep.
I started slowly but surely. I've been getting some volumes or issues from that run, and I like it. I'm up to like right before he gets his own like Venom in there, or gets his own symbiote, and I liked it. He has a couple cool interactions with some famous Avengers that I wasn't expecting to see out of there, and I'm excited to read more if I ever get to it.
Dude, I think this just goes to show that there is room for live action and animated, and you can get Miguel O'Hara. Dude, if they did a live action Spider-Man 2099, take my money all
Give it,
day
especially
long.
if they make him the same way in this movie. Oh,
I'm sorry. Cancel Moon Knight and give us 2099. Get Oscar
Wow.
Isaac over there. Nah, man, he had. I'm giving my quote. Right? I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. The track on the album is called "Giving Up," or not the one. It starts with Oscar Isaac saying, "But I'm not like the others. I don't always like what I have to do, but I know I have to be the one to do it." And then it ends with him saying, "Being Spider-Man is a sacrifice. That's the job. That's what you signed up for." Bro, that is the kind of Spider-Man and version of him and the take on the character that I think has been missing across any live action movie, TV show, period. That version, I don't want to say Batman, right? I don't want to take it that route, but he kind of gives you that feel where he'll shun anyone to, at the end of the day, save the day, to be the hero, but it's his version of heroism. And I think that would be a great story. And imagine the villains who can play off of that. Imagine, there's endless possibilities. I know the point of the question was Miles Morales. Yes, give him a live action. But please don't forget about 2099.
I think to the point of your question, though, what this movie managed to do was that it made you just excited for anything else, be it live action, animated. We just want more. We just ate at a buffet, and we still feel like we're starved Spider-Man fans, and we want more.
Spider-Man.
Always want more. Just like Metro Boomin.
There you go.
Hey.
Ugh.
Speaking
Dude, that
of-
album. That album was freaking heat. Oh my god.
How did you guys feel about its use in the movie?
I liked it. It didn't have. They didn't. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I saw the movie before the album came out, so I had
Oh, okay.
kind of had no. I felt like that was a little different going into it than on my second watch when I had listened to the album for a couple of days and then got to see it. But I didn't really like. One of my friends on the car ride there, he was like, "Oh, I heard I heard the music isn't as good in this, and I'm like, Tommy, we haven't even like the album's not even out yet. Why you gotta
No.
tell me that? Like I had a huge moment of Metro Boomin 1 and More on the last episode. Like you can't just tell me that the soundtrack isn't used enough before we even see the movie. But I thought it was used pretty well. They didn't have to use it in the same way that Into the Spider-Verse used it. They still took a lot of the beats and a lot of the samples you could hear in the songs, and even on the track list you could like look at the ones that were remixed from the album. And by remixing it, like they still use the same beats, they just didn't go into the lyrics as much as they did from the first album. I thought that was so cool.
The first album felt more like everything was centered on Miles, whereas this album expands, and I think it's applicable to a lot more of the core characters that you get. 2099, Gwen, like these moments. When I listen to it back after watching the movie, we were talking about this right before. I pull moments from the movie, but it's not always Miles. Like Sunflower, Miles. What's Up Danger, Miles. That Jaden Smith song, Miles. Like everything from that album is Miles. This is truthfully, if anyone takes anything from this and you're maybe interested in what we're going to talk about, this movie expands on the Spider-Verse and the character of who Spider-Man is so organically and seamlessly. And I don't think that they missed anywhere giving you that feel. Visually, audio, music, actual score and soundtrack. It just, as Spider-Man would say, just chef's kiss.
Yes.
No, absolutely. It's a chef's kiss for me as well. The music's one of those things, though, in movies where people are going to either love it or hate it immediately because it doesn't have the same test of time, right? Where Sunflower, What's Up Danger, and the other song, you've had about 3 years, 4 years to listen to it over and over and fall in love with it, because even Sunflower took time to get to the charts. Right. You know, it took a while after the movie was released before people started listening and we're like, wow, what a great song. This is going to happen the same way. I guarantee it. There's going to be one or two or three songs out of this album that people are going to be listening back to. And I've already started seeing it because TikTok, people are already starting to use in their socials for their videos. And there's one or two that I see more often than not.
Annihilation.
Hummingbird.
Oh my!
But Hummingbird is really good, and so is Annihilate. You know, I've seen some people use Silken Cologne. You know, it's gonna take time. So for the people that don't like it, give yourself a year or two, and you're gonna be back, and you're gonna be one of the people saying, "Wow, what a great album! This album is a masterpiece." When they were also the same people hating on it when it first came out.
What a cool thing though, that you have an artist, you have Metro Boomin, and you get all these collaborations. I think Black Panther kind of kicked it off, and now
100%.
You get these, like, it's just what a time that we live in, where music and games and animation and live action can all revolve around each other. We can just live in this every single day whenever we want. It's insane.
And what makes these out, both the Black Panther album and then the both Across the Spider-Verse albums, fantastic, and even like James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy, is the people who make these soundtracks, be it original music or just making like a playlist, or taking already done music, is they understand the characters and they understand what they need to portray. Because in Black Panther, it's the same thing. You listen to the music and they know immediately what you know what you're getting into when you hear the song, and you can almost associate it with a scene. Same thing with Across the Spider-Verse. Instantly same thing with Guardians. It's just fantastic.
Even Shang-Chi,
agreed.
Shout out to Sway Lee though. Dude, man's crushing every Marvel movie.
Wait, was Sway Lee in Shang-Chi? He had a song for it?
Yeah. I'll try to find it. but yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It was
You
the
gotta
main
find
one
that
when
one
they
day.
pull up to Zhao tower before he fights.
Oh yeah.
It was that song.
Yes.
Gotta watch that movie again. It's been a while.
Fantastic. That leads me into my probably the final question we might have time for. For the three of us, we probably said that Across didn't feel as much of an event. I know for myself,
Into.
at least I said that. Sorry. Didn't feel as much as an event.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like part 3 or this one is an event? Let's start off with Across. Do you feel like Across is an event after watching it?
Yes. I think so. It's like I just look at the box office numbers. It had an event type weekend compared to other episodes. But I want to give a shout out to my boy Doidle. Thank you for tuning in. The music was very, very fantastic in there. And I know he saw it twice. So he's just like me. You gotta how did you feel about it the second time? While he types, I'll continue on the next one. But I felt like an event, man. I freaking like just the final day or two leading up to it. Oh, serotonin was rising.
Yeah.
The box office numbers had it like make a event type feel. And we know for sure part 3 is gonna be a crazy event, No Way Home type style. Oh my god.
Hero, I know you mentioned your theater was packed.
Mhm. Yes, and I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it. I fully went into this movie thinking that people are gonna watch, but it's not gonna be as packed. And we pull up to the theater, and the concession stand line was from the registers all the way to the entrance of the theater. That's how long these concession stands were. Now, I don't know if that's a testament to how bad these workers are, but it was also just the sheer amount of people in there. There was a guy dressed up as Spider-Man in there. And then as the time went on and the movie was about to start, more and more people just came in. And at the end of that movie, I haven't heard that type of reaction to an ending of a movie where it's like excitement and just, everything else since Infinity War.
Yep.
It was great.
This is a positive effect of social media, in my opinion. I think Instagram took care of a lot of things. I think Twitter, the previews, I think there are enough people out there now that have their own fan bases that generated a lot of hype for people, and especially a lot of associations that they made with how good the sequel was. But also you saw a lot of Into the Spider-Verse come back. I think they did a great job marketing this movie. Fantastic job.
Mhm.
Haley Steinfeld, and I forget his name.
Shamik Moore.
Shamik Moore. I thought that their stuff was hilarious. That they were doing like, did you know you're this? Did you know that? And he's like, I had no idea. I had this. And she's like, what do you mean? It was just fun. But this movie to me definitely felt more like an event than Into the Spider-Verse. I think part 3 will get more of that MCU vibe.
For sure.
I think that's a level that I can get onto. And this movie by no means am I saying that this movie isn't like top. Like I'm going to sleep at night being like, is this better than Infinity War? It's better than Endgame. I'll hands down say that. This tops Endgame for me. This tops Endgame for me.
I want to watch it
I can say
again.
that too.
I want to watch it again, but it's contending for best comic book movie for sure.
Oh,
It is contending for best comic book movie. Out of like the 5 movies that I can name off the top of my head, it's in there now. Is it though? I don't know because I have to watch it again.
I'll say this. This movie did what Black Panther potentially could have done if Chadwick Boseman was around. R.I.P. Rest in power. But this movie, it's a once in a lifetime kind of movie. Part three will probably be great. but 2 had to come through and exceed all expectations for part 3 to build the hype like we're assuming it's going to have next year. Please don't let there be delays. But it's complete, man. Endgame wasn't complete for me. Endgame was great and was satisfying, but Infinity War did something nuts. This movie did something nuts.
And I was gonna say I had the same feeling that when I left Infinity War that I had with this when I left Across the Spider-Verse. Endgame, I needed another rewatch to really see how I felt.
Sure.
Because there were moments that I absolutely loved, and then there was some that made me feel a little meh, you know. But this movie, from beginning to end, just had me hooked. And as I said earlier, there was not a single part in the movie where it felt like you can get up and go to the bathroom or go get concessions, because it felt like you were going to miss something important.
Oh.
And if it wasn't important, it was going to be a little thing that you kicked yourself for not seeing. Because
I have a funny story about that, actually.
Go for it.
When I went to see it with my little cousin, and I went to see it with him on Sunday, and within the last 10 minutes, when they're building up to the whole twist at the end, he decided that he had to go to the bathroom, and I almost cried just thinking of the potential that he had of missing the twist and like the ending of it, because it was coming up fast. And even seeing it the second time, I'm like, oh shit, I hope he has enough time. He got back in time though. But I was just knowing the idea of it, I'm like, man, it's such a bad time. But every time in the movie is a bad time.
Yeah.
One of my friends I went to see it with on opening night went during he ended up finding a good part to stop and see. He didn't miss anything, but I was glued to the back of my chair the entire time. Oh, that's perfect.
When the AMC
Just
ads
screw
were
them
that's the
AMC ads.
best time. That's the best time.
Yeah.
Man, at least it's AMC ads and not Regal ads, because Regal ads are,
They both suck.
dude. Well, sadly, that's the only thing near me. The only AMC is like
Tommy.
60.
That's why I didn't complain about, for the people who are saying like, oh, my theater wasn't good. I went to a Regal theater where I know what I'm expecting, and there's a chance that it's no good.
Tommy, you left. All right, so
Oh,
I had
wow,
two
no
friends. I
bad.
had two friends that left during to see something.
But like
But-
that's kind of important too, you know.
Yeah, no, that was a big scene.
And it's just because this movie moves quick, and it's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just movie is getting to its next point in fun fashion.
The good thing that they did about this, though, even with that part where the building's falling in Mumbattan, what I thought was interesting in a technique that they use in this is they show a scene and move on, but they do a good job of revealing that in a subtle way. So if you, for whatever reason, did miss something, it didn't really mess the story up, but it could have been one of those like aha moments, like, oh, that's exactly like, here's the payoff. They still wrote it in a way to where if you did miss something here, there, and some big parts, which we'll dive into for the podcast, you can still. So although you left during the building fall, they still came through. Just a scene.
It's all right.
It's okay. We got posters out of it, so it's all good.
Man, that's the biggest thing that I was jealous of, because you sent that and I was like, man, we got nothing. Even the popcorn and drink cup were garbage at Regal, and I said I'm not waiting in line for that. And then I see AMC get these actual cool helmets for like $30. Ridiculous.
One of my friends got the helmet, but I got no room. I got too many Funkos out here, so the poster's fine. It'll be up within 2 weeks. I'm excited.
I have nothing but memories. That's it. Shout out to
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack #1. That's it.
That's all we got. the memories that'll live on.
Oh, let's see.
Oh,
You
we
got
get the Miles
thing, yeah.
helmet.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
nice.
good.
The Spider-Gwen one is really good too.
Keeping small 3D prints in it. Oh yeah, you 3D print a lot. That's
All right,
cool.
we're gonna ask our viewers that are watching live. Did you like Across the Spider-Verse more than Into the Spider-Verse?
Ooh. While they type, we should answer this quick fire. Spider Brando.
Yes. Everything Across the Spider-Verse did was better than what Into the Spider-Verse did. And it's so hard to say that considering Into the Spider-Verse is like one of the best comic book movies, one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
Yeah.
But this just took it up a notch, just like we hoped for in our last episode deep dive. We wanted more, and we got more.
Mm.
And it's just, I really want to put it as one of my top. I really want to put it as top 2 Spider-Man movies of all time.
My favorite Spider-Man movie in general. Wow, that's a very big praise.
I'm
And
feeling that.
honestly, though, I can't blame you for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say yes,
I'm gonna say yes as well.
but that's by no means a knock.
No.
No.
You don't get this movie without that one
So
being as good as it
excellent.
is.
But it was kind of overwhelming. I could understand that too. There were some parts that were breakneck, and if you're not ready for it, it could.
I'll say this, and I know we've mentioned it kind of in our chats and Discord and all that stuff. If we didn't do the history of the Spider-Verse the way that we did and break things down, it made this movie so much cleaner, and I appreciated this movie so much more.
Mhm.
After having to spend an hour of my life watching Ultimate Spider-Man, and I'm like, this is junk. And then going
Yeah.
back to animated and be like, they left so much on the table. And then Shattered Dimensions, it's like, well, that version of 2099 sucked. And then reading Spider-Verse, and you're like, what? And then they pull in tie-ins from those things in this movie, and you're like, this is awesome.
Yes.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the
Love
prep
it.
helped out so much.
Okay.
I can't wait to get that Spider-Verse comic omnibus, man. Oh my god.
I heard someone compare it to how Tears of the
Tears of
Kingdom
the Kingdom.
was a huge step up from Breath of the Wild, but it would be nothing without Breath. That's very
Wow.
true.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Very true.
And
It
that's why
does
this
set
whole
it up.
thing, yeah, when we go through, we talked about trilogies. You don't have a complete trilogy like Guardians, like you build on each other. So yes, do I think this is the better of the 2 movies? Yeah, but you don't have, that's exactly right. You don't have this movie without Into the Spider-Verse. And part 3 is, I would
Just think
be,
of the main villain of this movie. You wouldn't have him if it wasn't for that little scene in Into the Spider-Verse. Like it's
So
just, it's crazy, man.
Hmm. No, that's a good comparison. It's a very good comparison for all our gaming fans out there.
but to live up to for a sequel to exceed the initial installment of the
hard.
trilogy in today's day and age, to cut
Tough.
through all the people who don't want movies to succeed simply because they don't want them to succeed because it's popular now and it's all this. Dude, shout out to the movie and
Yeah.
everyone involved.
I saw IGN give it like an 8 or a 7. And for the people that saw it, because I went back after I watched it and looked into the comments, and for the people that saw it, they ripped into IGN because they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the big
Yo.
things that IGN said was that it's like too bloated or whatever, which I don't think that's true at all, especially if you know what the intention of this movie is.
You can't. And
Yeah.
that's a tough to make. Personal preference aside, that's very, very difficult for me to be like, I can see it. I can't see it.
No, I can't see that.
Oh, speaking of reviews getting eaten out, I saw Variety. They did a Spider-Man ranking. They put Across the Spider-Verse at 7 out of all the Spider-Man movies, and I'm like, there is 0 chance it's at 7. And they put Far From Home above it. Like,
They put Far From Home above it?
I
What was
swear,
number one?
unless I don't know. Actually, I forgot what number 1 was, but I know
That's insane.
it was not Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, this is a good comment. I want to read this one out. A lot happened, but they also took their time with the perfect scenes. For example, the party was on for so long, but it was so emotionally powerful and added so much to the mom's character. Exactly. This movie was such a good example for as much as they play on this in Spot. No character left behind. Everyone got something. Obviously, more got some than others. That's just what has to happen in storytelling. But they added depth of the character.
Mhm.
We'll talk about MVPs and that. This is great. This is great. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Doidle?
Doidle. I think it is.
Doidle?
Doidle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're on. I was thinking this exact thing with a specific character
And
that they pulled us in.
And it's true because it's not only for the mother, but also Miles' father, and also from the representation standpoint. Because if you're Hispanic and you see this party and you see how they interact with each other, that is exactly what it's like. And it was crazy. They managed to nail it on the head, and it just made it feel more fun. It made you feel like you got something out of it, but then also pushing forward a character story on the last one we did get some stuff from Miles' mother, but now it's just fleshed out even more for her and then also his father.
Which I think makes the end, if you want to call it an act 3, that hits so much more, and they can roll some things up a lot quicker. When you see Uncle Aaron, you see Miles's mom, then you get the dad on the side. Like Earth 42, they can play that way, and they can run with that in part 3 because they set it up in 1, they furthered it in 2, and they can kind of give you a different perspective on 3, but you understand it and they don't have to take so much time explaining all these other pieces.
I
A
agree.
plus. A plus.
So
Right.
I was able to pull up Variety's rankings just to see what they have. They got at number 1 Spider-Man 2002, the very first one. Number 2 No Way Home. 3 Spider-Man 2. 4 is Homecoming. 5 Into the Spider-Verse. 6 Far From Home. 7 Across the Spider-Verse. 8 Amazing Spider-Man. 9 Spider-Man 3. And 10 Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's crazy to think. We got 10 Spider-Man movies now. That's freaking awesome.
That's awesome. But you mean to tell me that it only beats out the worst, well, what is in the fandom, right? Considered the worst movies? Get out of here with that.
Yeah,
Variety.
I don't know, man. We don't like, I'm not going to say his name, but the person that wrote this article, not the biggest fan of anymore.
We'll talk about that off camera because I want to know who it is.
But man, I can't believe freaking Across the Spider. I thought it was fake at first.
It is a wild list.
Yeah.
Imagine saying Across the Spider-Verse is only barely better than Amazing Spider-Man.
Man. I don't know. I feel like that could be a whole different. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with that. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with that.
I agree.
The only thing that I would say for people who don't like this movie, I am still seeing people, and we said this, they don't like it because the animation style was too much. It was kind of overwhelming for them visually, and I can understand that if you don't watch animation or you just never have really got into it. That's fair. But I don't think that that's a detriment to the movie to put it 7th on a list or something.
Nah, dude, that animation was, I swear, when I saw it in IMAX, I could have swore they were like throwing in like bits of live action shots mid like animation. That's how good it looked on the screen. I swear, I was like, yo, my Beyond theory is about to be real. Like they're gonna freaking just randomly be live action after this, like after this scene. But
That's funny.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement though. Clearly, these people need some more animation in their lives. Had some of the best animation.
Dude,
so this review, oh, dude, we gotta deep dive this
We'll
review for it.
get
It's
into
pissing me off.
We'll get into the animation in the pod. That's all we'll say. We
Yeah.
love it though. We love it. That's
This-
our quick fire thing.
This variety review is just pissing me off though with everything it says.
Click off
It doesn't
Click
make
off
any
it.
sense.
Click off it.
yeah, don't let it spoil you for the pod.
Oh, it's not going to.
I will say this: if you're someone who's watching this and you didn't vibe or feel good about the animation, watch it again, because there's a lot that you can miss out. There's a lot that you can miss out. We don't know who Brandon is, though. I know a Spider Brando.
Yeah.
Yeah, same person.
We don't know
I'm
any
just kidding, I'm just
Brandons.
kidding, I'm just kidding. No, represent. Well,
They got a lot of different personalities.
I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna throw this out. One last question, since we're here. From an emotional moment standpoint, it was something that was a highlight of Into the Spider-Verse and made it so great. Did you guys feel that we got more or better or less than Into the Spider-Verse? My guy Hero Skull freeze because I was like, man, you're thinking for a long time.
Yeah, he's frozen. I thought the same thing. Oh, ooh, in the middle now. I think I had many more emotional moments, but not like one giant leap of faith. You can't even say that. He had his own leap of faith in this movie when he was in the end, like in the end fight, like, and the whole line from the trailers of everybody keeps telling me how to write my story, but I'm the one who wants to write it.
The whole train
Like
scene.
that whole train scene was pretty much this leap of faith in this movie. I think
you
it had
didn't-
more. I think it had more emotion in it. I'm not gonna lie.
And I feel like it's a subtle thing that most people don't remember, but when he jumps into the portal, when he jumps in the portal to go after Gwen, leap of
That's
faith all day.
Yup.
There's no idea.
Dude, even Gwen's story. I will dive into this in the pod.
Yeah.
But Spider Gwen or Spider Woman Gwen. I think she's in top 5 Spider-Man characters now. I
All time?
loved her portrayal in this all time. Haley, every time I hear her now, like Haley Steinfeld is Gwen. Screw Kate Bishop,
Yeah.
screw whoever else she plays. Like you were bringing up Oscar Isaac as 2099 in live action. That's what I want for Spider Gwen. Her voice acting in this was just top notch.
Perfect.
The I'm gonna do my own thing scene was so blank golden. Given the context of everything, I think it beats the first movie. I agree. I honestly just hearing it in the trailer, we're like, oh, okay, that's like a cool line. But seeing it in the climax of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
that's some heat. He really outmaneuvered like a whole society. Like that's nuts right there.
Yeah. Because I mean, you got to think what separates them. It comes down to the individual, and the fact that exactly that. I'm gonna do my own thing. It just sets up part 3 so well for them to continue to explore who his character is. It's like the main character in this trilogy that's gonna come up. Man, so good. You got anything else?
Chef's kiss. I mean, I do, but we'll save it for the actual pod.
Yeah,
I got some more deep dives.
we gotta get Hero Scroll back. We gotta get him
Yeah.
back.
I guess we could still chat around until he's back.
Yeah.
Our
Right.
friend and host Hero Scroll is having a power outage for the moment. But you want to talk about the album a little more?
Oh, hit me with what you got because I've been listening to it on repeat.
I probably listened to it like 3 times in my car rides today. It was just hearing the quotes from the movie that they put in there, and the ending quote to Home when he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm finally home,"
It's like
and just knowing the weight of it.
the
He wasn't home.
so I listened to it. I think I messaged you guys. I listened to it right before
Yep.
I saw it just to get some context and just listen to some things. I was like, okay, none of that resonated with me whatsoever until I got home and listened to it later that night.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think that's what helped me
huge.
like the album a little more, was because I had seen it, and then when I listened to it the next day, I was like remembering all the clips, all the moments that it came in from, and then just listening to it more and more over the weekend and seeing it the second time. Whew. Annihilate, yo, they got some banger lyrics in there of like actual like spider senses and like swinging around. Oh my god.
Oh, Lil Wayne hits when he comes
Yep.
in right off the bat. I typically
was,
don't listen to lyrics or like pull the lyrics part up in Apple Music. I absolutely.
But you
do
had
that.
to. Yo, nonviolent communications too. That is such a good overall song. And self love. Every time I hear self love, just immediately think of Gwen's scene.
Yes.
What was the other song? There's 2 songs that sound very similar to each other. I forgot what they are. But one of them always reminds me of the rooftop scene where Miles was MIA,
Yeah.
and the song from there, and another song that sounds like it, but I forgot its name. Silken Cologne and something else.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But
It's one of those though. I haven't watched it or listened to it enough and looked at what I'm listening to because I have it in my pocket or I have it on the
oh
desk.
yeah, nah, I've been
So the
all on it
songs go
like
through
every
and I'm
time.
like, what song is this? What song is this?
Yeah, no, I've been on top of it, but I liked. It was just so good. A lot of my favorite artists were in here with Don Toliver, Uzi. This song with Nas, freaking Nas Morales. Wow, that's a good one too.
Isn't that the one that the Weeknd shouted out? I think I saw that screenshot on his profile.
Probably, yeah.
Or
Because I
Metro
know
Boomin reposted it on his story.
I think Metro reposted it because he's wanted to work with Nas for years and finally got him onto it.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back.
I remuted you.
Sorry, I don't know what that was. I think we had a power outage in the area, or like a power surge, and it knocked down everything for a couple minutes.
We're talking about too much heat.
The Venom Blast does that. Every
Yep.
once in a while.
Oh, the Venom Blast,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Hero, what's your favorite song on the album besides Annihilate or Hummingbird?
Ooh, I really like Nonviolent Communication.
Yes,
I really like that one. And then
song's so soothing.
yes, and then Silken Cologne is actually really good too.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one with 21 Savage, and I can't remember the name of it right now, so it's kind of killing me.
I'm looking at
Gotta
the
be
track
Giving
list. Was it?
Might be giving up. 2 Chainz.
Yeah, I was giving up.
Yes,
That one's got
yes.
21 in it.
Fantastic.
Oh, 13 bangers.
Dude, every song on there is, even if you're not a fan, like, it's still good. It's still good stuff.
Yeah.
Liquid Gold. What was the question that you asked before? I was transported into the darkness.
No, I know we're going to get into it, but I wanted to see what the live stream viewers think. Ooh, while we have some other people, what are you guys? Who is your favorite variant that we saw that was new
Ooh.
in this movie. So if you're watching live, drop it in the comments.
Please, we want to know because there were so many.
Too
There's
many.
So many.
And I heard the writers said that that's not even the freaking iceberg for Beyond, and that they didn't even get to use a lot of them in this first half. So
It's all right. Is that going to be this version of Thanos on his Power Stone quest? We didn't get to see. We just have to assume some other variants.
probably Hobie,
Hobie.
Nah,
my
it's not
guy. He was my. Was he my
He was your pick. To
most?
play.
He was my most anticipated. Yeah.
You're right.
Mine
up there for
flopped.
me.
The mine flopped hard.
Who was yours?
Which one was yours?
Scarlet.
Oh, Scarlet.
Oh yeah.
Bro, some musclehead.
Oh
dude.
my god.
I'm okay with it. I
was not
did
expecting
expect
it.
I did expect more, and I have to say, if maybe I'm like gonna say a negative or any nitpick, right? Maybe that's it, Scarlet Spider. But even that, it was like that was good.
I still have hope for him in part 3 since he was part of the squad that went
Yeah.
after her. So I'm like, maybe. But other Miles,
I like that pick.
now Mr. Doidle. We can talk about this, man. Get my number from Spider Brando. Shoot, we can. When that hit, I didn't care who was in the theater. I literally was like, let's go. Like, let's go, clap, stomp. I wanted to stand up.
You know what's funny about that reveal is that you could almost call it from the minute that he got into that world, right? You could almost call it that it's gonna be, he's not in his universe and there's gonna be an evil version. You could have called it. It doesn't matter though, because when you see it, it's still so good.
Yeah.
Dude,
They
I had no
executed
idea. I'm not even gonna
perfectly.
lie. I was completely fooled up until like that moment of like, what the heck is going on? And well, not until that moment, but once they put the whole the mural for his dad up there,
Yeah.
obviously I knew it was different then, but before that I was like, holy shit, like what the heck is going on? Like, does his mom just not freaking she does not know who Spider-Man is? Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that for a second.
But that's what I was saying, going back to earlier. If you missed the machine that told you where they're going to pull his DNA from, I actually saw
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, it was a quick catch. They
Yeah.
still gave you a reference and still played it off smooth. But
Oh.
I almost wish that I didn't see it. The only thing, I got tripped up on a couple pieces when it came to like where Gwen showed up to and where Miguel showed up to. They fooled me when she was outside of his window.
Oh yeah.
They
got
did
me.
fool me then too.
They got
They
No
had
lie.
something I want to bring up, the foreshadowing that you
Mm.
just brought up when Spot was talking about his origin and how his spider bit the wrong Miles.
Yeah.
You could see clearly in the diagram as like he was describing the story of Earth 42 that Miles had braids. And
Yeah.
when Miles' mom first asked where the braids at, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
once those two clicked, I was like, wow, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, I really want to go back through various scenes, right? Because this isn't even the only one. I want to see what else I missed.
So much.
Because before the pod, we were saying how
You guys had a before?
just like a few minutes before we went
Man.
live, we were talking about how Insomniac came out and said that there was new Spider-Man 2
Oh, yeah.
gameplay,
Yeah, people
in the
were
movie?
fighting that.
and I didn't see it. So I want to watch it again, and I want to see that now. I want to find that. But a cool nod that I said to Lou earlier was the fact that they found, or I saw that during the part where they're talking about how Uncle Ben's death is a canon event. they have gameplay from the Amazing Spider-Man movie tie-in game. And they picked that
Yeah, that's weird.
butt ugly game and represented it in the movie still.
Dude, the
Why
live
not?
action callbacks are
Yo, I saw they had the Spider-Man ice pop in there too. Someone
they?
freaking yeah! During one of the chase scenes, there was a Spider-Man ice
Bro.
pop, and I was like, "There's no way!"
Bro, how did I forget the Lego Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, animated by 14-year-old kid. That's crazy.
I
That was
love
very
that.
cool. Very
I
cool.
love that.
Very, very cool. Big fan. Bang.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yup, yeah, see, I'm not the only one that picked up on the ice pop. It's insane
That's clutch.
that they put a damn ice pop. How does it not melt? Like, where's the physics behind that?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
I guess it
Doesn't matter.
Love it.
You know what does matter though? The Point 3 podcast, episode 5, Across the Spider-Verse recap and deep dive and theories, way too early theories of what to expect in Beyond the Spider-Verse, coming at you on Wednesday. Or no, I don't know when we're gonna get it up. Not gonna lie.
Wednesday. Let's
But
commit to
Wednesday?
it.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
All right.
Locking
Wednesday.
it in.
All right.
Lock it in, baby.
You're one of our best. Yes.
Fun.
No,
But-
we're locking it in. Love it.
Yep. So that episode will be very important to learn more on our thoughts, reactions, and spoiler discussions of what happened in this movie and how to go beyond.
Love it. Appreciate the love on the comments.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank you
stopping
guys for
by,
joining.
Doidle. Appreciate it.
That
Yeah.
was cool. Appreciate
And
the support.
Tom, if you're still here,
Yeah, Tom.
Thank you both.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it. This is
Go
fun.
see. Let's all just see the movie again. Let's just support.
Everybody.
Let's all
Everybody
go see
go.
it again.
Everybody go.
I'm not gonna say the sources, but I have found a link to it on Twitter.
No,
No.
not like that.
Not a
like
link,
that.
but-
in the movie, in the
yeah.
movie theater. Give it your
Or-
money because it deserves it.
Yeah, just Venmo me.
It does.
Venmo me the money. I'll go take some. That's what we'll do. Wait, we got one more. Boom.
No problem.
This is awesome. No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Trying to play Insomniacs like Genki was, you mean? In the movie?
Oh, it got copyrighted?
Oh.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
surprised.
That's okay.
Good. Good.
As
But
it
we could-
should.
Yeah, we could talk for hours. So appreciate you guys stopping by. If you're
Yep.
watching this after the fact, go check out the podcasts anywhere where you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Support Apple though. We love Apple products. And with that, a good night.
Good night.